game number 1 of this 3-game set here on FSN Midwest. The cranes in the background of Busch. The new stadium is just around the corner. Part 2 of my visit with Mark Lamping. Let's talk a little bit about the new stadium opening up after next year. Where does everything stand right now?
Construction of the ballpark is coming along as scheduled. It's coming along very close to budget. Things are moving along very quickly. We've been blessed with some very good weather. We haven't had a lot of problems due to weather delays or things affiliated with construction on the site. The productivity of the workers has been outstanding. The highly trained and skilled workers on the site are doing an outstanding job, and you know, so far so good. We have a long way to go before opening day, but at least at this juncture we're in very good shape.
So pretty much everything's on time?
Yeah, we're actually a touch ahead of schedule, but again, it's so early in the process. You know, you can go from being ahead of schedule to behind schedule very quickly, but we haven't seen anything occur yet that suggests that our schedule is anything but firm.
As you've gone forward with this process, what has been, since you broke ground, the biggest hurdle that you've had to really jump over and then make sure that you can get the stadium going?
Well, as far as the job was concerned, we had some fairly well-documented material issues as it relates to construction. There's a lot of steel pricing issues. Steel availability was something that the construction team had to deal with early on. The availability of concrete was also something, but we've been able to get through and over both of those hurdles. Those were the two primary issues as it relates to cost. I think we found that there was a little more trash and debris underneath that parking lot than we thought. Nothing of historical significance, obviously, but just more debris and construction trash that was left by previous work on that site. So it took us a little longer to get the site cleared. Those were the major things, but fortunately we've been able to get through them, and at the end of the day did not affect the schedule.
And finally, Mark, I know a lot of people want to talk about the All-Star game coming up in the next few seasons. Where does that stand right now for the St. Louis Cardinals and their fan base?
When we originally started the construction process for the ballpark, or to put the financing together, our hope, if fans can recall now, to me it seems like that was like 50 years ago that we started this process. That's how it's been as we've gone through it. But originally we had hoped that the ballpark would open in 2005. And if we were able to get the ballpark open in 2005, the hope was to host the 2006 All-Star game. Obviously, the ballpark is not opening next year. It's not going to open until 2006. Therefore, the next available All-Star game for a National League city would have been 2008. We think and have a fairly high level of confidence that now that Major League Baseball appears to be going away from the alternating years of All-Star games, that they will be going to new ballparks, even if it means they have to go to back-to-back cities or teams within the same league. We fully hope and expect that St. Louis will host an All-Star game in 2009.
Our thanks to Mark Lamping. As you can see, it is a big crowd filing in tonight here at Busch Stadium. Cardinals and Diamondbacks, and our first pitch is coming up. Here at Busch Stadium, a beautiful night for baseball. As I mentioned before the break, big crowd expected tonight, and they're filing in as we speak. Woody Williams is on the mound for St. Louis. His number is brought to you by Advance Auto Parts.
This could be a real interesting outing for Woody Williams. Basically facing a very young, inexperienced hitting team, and he is a master at exploiting their weaknesses.
Pujols has got it.
Out in front. Pujols, a nice play to his left. The race. Got it.
Well, Tony La Russa said he will be a Gold Glover in the future. Albert Pujols over there, a .993 fielding percentage this season. The Auto Tire defense, Cedeno, Edmonds, and Walker in the outfield. Mabry, Renteria, Womack, and Pujols on the infield. And a constant behind the plate is Mike Matheny. I know you feel that way, Al, about Mr. Pujols over there at first.
No doubt about it. He's very soft hands. His only times he makes errors is of aggression. But, you know, when you're acquiring Gold Gloves, it's not supposed to be, but offense is a part of it, and there's no better offensive player.
How about the Diamondbacks this year? We saw them earlier this season. The Cardinals pounded them. They outscored them 29-18 and swept Arizona. In pretty much that first month of the season, and that's a strike from Woody Williams. And since then, 101 losses.
Well, they're a different team. I mean, that team seasoned veterans, but they're all hurt. I mean, they've just had a tremendous amount of injuries, and then the other guys have been traded away, and even a dismissal of their manager.
Al Padrique takes over in the dugout for the Diamondbacks for Brenly. Here's a ground ball left side, charging. Nice play, John Mabry. A look at the lineup for Al Padrique, the first-year manager of the Diamondbacks, called up from their system. Terrero, who are these guys? Cintron, Batista, and Hillenbrand. We know them, but Chad Tracy, Chris Snyder, Josh Kroger, Jerry Gill, and Brandon Webb for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Good play here from John Mabry.
You know, he's not Scott Rowland, but boy, I tell you, he has all the effort and comes in and makes a nice play with a strong throwing arm. Made that one look relatively easy.
Alex Cintron looks at a fastball and a strike on the outside corner from Woody Williams.
Cintron had been playing shortstop, but now they moved him to second to get a look at Gill.
What happened to Robbie Alomar?
He's gone, traded.
What happened to Richie Sexson?
He's out for the year, surgery.
Kurt Schilling traded in the offseason. And the biggest non-trade at the deadline was Randy Johnson staying put. 2 outs. A team that had Tony Womack at second base. The World Series year back in 2001. Reggie Sanders was part of that team. Johnson and Schilling were the co-MVPs of the World Series. This guy was around, Danny Bautista. He came off their bench that year.
And now he's one of their most consistent offensive players.
Good start here for Woody. Ground ball to the former Diamondback. A low throw over to Pujols. And a 1-2-3 inning for Woody Williams. Pujols into right center field. That ball is trouble. Get going. Gone. Home run for Albert. This is Mike Matheny. Drills it into deep left field. How about this one off the bat of Mike Matheny? That's a look at your Cardinal lineup with Tony Womack leading things off for St. Louis. 198 home runs this year. Second most in the National League. And it's been a heck of a lineup and a heck of an offense this season, even without Scott Rowland in that lineup once again tonight. Probably for the remainder of this homestand and series. We hope to get Scott Rowland back in that lineup against Milwaukee, at least in one or maybe a couple of those games against the Brewers. That would be nice. First pitch to Tony Womack was a strike. He grounds this one sharply to second. What a shot there. A ground ball for Brandon Webb.
Last year's Rookie of the Year, and you're right, ground balls are his specialty. The problem has been he has not gotten much run support, and the fact that he doesn't have a defense that can catch all those ground balls. He's allowed 26 unearned runs, as they have just had a tough time catching the ball.
Another problem has been the walks as well. 109 this season. That leads the National League, and this is Walker.
He's hit 10 batters and also has 15 wild pitches. Part of that's just because his pitches are so alive, so much movement, it's tough to catch.
Well, I did a feature with Larry Walker yesterday for our pregame program next Friday, a week from tonight, as we return to Colorado. And Larry was very adamant, I thought, in the interview as far as kind of turning the page on his time with Colorado. Having great respect for it and respect for the fans, but looking ahead to possibly getting into a World Series and how important that is for his career. Maybe that final exclamation point for him. The Cardinals do have him under contract for one more season next year. 2-2.
Well, you know, it's when you've made as much money as he has in the game and you've accomplished as much as far as numbers, what really means anything is to have that championship ring.
A 2-2 pitch to Walker. He also made a point to say, you know what? I am a huge St. Louis Blues fan. Now. So that's changed in the last month for Larry Walker.
And hopefully he will get to see some of those Blues.
Don't get me started. One out walk to Walker, and it brings in Albert Pujols. Let's take a look at that Arizona defense. Kroger, Torrero, and Bautista in the outfield, and the defense is brought to you by Auto Tire. Chad Tracy, Jerry Gill, the shortstop, then Cintron and Hillenbrand on the infield, and Snyder is behind the plate. Defense brought to you by Auto Tire. Have you seen some of the milestones that Pujols is closing in on? Remarkable. Remarkable. 44 home runs now. That is a new career high for Pujols. But you got to look at runs scored too. Just 12 shy of 500 in his career.
Just a little bit shy of 500 RBIs in his career. He's got a chance for 100 extra base hits. He's up there on the National League leaderboard. It's a shame Rowan had injury. 3 Cardinals and Castillo. And
Albert chops it towards third. Double play ball, and there it is. Cardinals are done here in the first. We move to the second here in St. Louis. No score. And 4 errors last night in that Cardinal defense. It was not pretty. Here's Shea Hillenbrand. A fastball and a strike from Woody. This one is chopped foul. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes. Our good buddy, the commish, Rick Hummel, was the official scorer last night, and he had to hand out 4 errors. He didn't want to do that. There's Rick working the ball game tonight for the Post-Dispatch. It'll be Hillenbrand, Tracy, and Snyder, and time is called.
Well, at least Dave Duncan didn't call any time.
Well, occasionally you'll have coaches that maybe make a call up to the press box here and there, state their case for their guy. Hillenbrand, an interesting story. He's back home. Back in 1993, he was the high school soccer player of the year at Mountain View High School in Arizona. Actually had chances to go over to Europe and play professional soccer, but he persisted. He said he wanted to play baseball, and he was redshirted his first year at junior college. And by the time he got out of Mesa Community College, he was one of the top JUCO players in the country, and wound up with Boston and now with Arizona.
Had a very solid season last year, and not as good this year, but not as much surrounding cast.
Broken bat, Tony Womack for the first down.
Even some of the veteran batters in this lineup, Woody Williams is really making them look, you know, doing and feeding right out of his hand as he's getting them to expand their strike zone, go after his pitches that are out of the strike zone.
You and I talked about this the other night on our pregame show. The fact that Woody, since he arrived in St. Louis, if you're looking for positive statistics, and he's got a bunch of them, but pitching here at Busch Stadium, he's been outstanding. And now for the 5th batter he's seen tonight, he's ahead in the count 0-1. 25 wins here at Busch, and he's been very good here at home this year again. And this is Roger Cedeno in left. 2 outs.
And he also has a little odd statistic too, and as you see that record at Busch Stadium, not much better than that. He's 44-21 as a Cardinal, but this is the interesting one to me, and could have some play in postseason. He's 77-47, 30 games over 500 in night games, and 11 games under 500 in day games, with a significantly higher ERA.
Now take that a step further. If you're looking at day games too, you might want to steer clear of Matt Morris with an ERA that's,
I think that was a given.
That's around 8 for Matt Morris, and that the only time in postseason you're going to have a day game is in the divisional series. That's it.
Now the one disclaimer is sometimes the day games in postseason are almost like 4 o'clock starts. That time it's pitcher's delight because the shadows, the long shadows in the fall.
Do you think, though, we put too much stock into day games, night games, and those numbers?
I think when they say something like Matt Morris, I think it's legitimate. Carpenter, I think, can pitch either place. Suppan, who's perfect on the road this year. Jason Marquis, it doesn't make a difference, but it seems like it makes a difference. Matt pitching at home. Woody is better at home, but I'll take him any place. Tough competitor he is. And I have to pay attention to Matt Morris's day game record.
2-2, misses just inside. The pitch before just missed outside, so now full count on Chris Snyder.
If I can avoid having Matt pitch on the road during the day, somebody else makes that start.
Little low. Boy, Woody was all around the plate on those last 3 pitches and didn't get the call from the home plate umpire. That's Jerry Lane tonight. First base runner in this game. A walk to Snyder, and it brings in Josh Kroger.
Our mail was just delivered to us a little while ago from the Cardinals, so if we report some tardy birthday wishes and things, please understand.
This guy opened the season at Double-A, had very good numbers, hitting over 300 at Triple-A for Arizona. Now in the big leagues, hitting just 115. Odd way to tape that bat handle.
I think he's got an opportunity to become a very good basket weaver.
Now, did George Brett have something like that with the pine tar? Obviously, you can see it a little bit there on Kroger's bat. Not quite up to the top.
And really patted the knob.
Right down the middle, and a strikeout for Woody Williams. His first tonight, and there's no score. Here's Edmonds to lead it off. And in the magazine, you can read all about Jim Jackson, the Cardinal radio producer and engineer. He just works his tail off all the time before and after games and during the game, working with Mike Shannon and Wayne Hagan. And Jim Jackson is featured in the Cardinals Game Day magazine. One of the great guys we get a chance to work with every day. 1-0 pitch to Edmonds. A little upstairs, 2-0. It's Edmonds, Cedeno, and Renteria here in the Cardinals half of the second. .42 home runs, 109 RBIs. What a year he has had.
The 42 home runs ties his career high. He's one away from tying the great Johnny Mize, the Hall of Famer, the Big Cat, for the most home runs by a left-handed hitter in Cardinal history.
Inside to Edmonds, 4 straight and a walk. Number 110 on the year for Brandon Webb. His second walk in this game, and it brings in Roger Cedeno.
Brandon also, like the big unit, Randy Johnson, could sue his teammates for lack of run support too.
Randy Johnson is back over 500, but he's playing for a team that has 101 losses, but yet still garnering serious consideration for that Cy Young Award in the National League.
What'd you say? He's got, leading the major leagues in strikeouts,
ERA.
He's over, I think, 220 innings pitched. But
talking with the Arizona
over
people,
500.
Oh, they talk about him being the best pitcher right now in all of baseball. And he's what, 41, 42 years old?
I think he's supposed to turn 42 later this month.
Cardinals catch a break. They won't see the big unit in this series. 1 ball, 1 strike on Cedeno. There he is.
There he is. I had a chance to talk to him the other night, or the other morning, and when we were in Cincinnati. Remember, they had an off day after he threw about a 2-hour gem. That's Luis Gonzalez, who's out for the season with shoulder surgery or elbow surgery.
I thought it was interesting in Mike Shannon's interview, which was very good, with Johnson before the game. He said one of the things that bothers him is when he goes out, and if he doesn't strike out 10, 11, 12 in a game, people ask him, what's wrong with you? How come you didn't do this? He just passed Steve Carlton on the strikeouts list. But I did like how he said he owed the game. That's why he wants to continue to play, and A chance at one more ring. A ball and 2 strikes.
And not to sarcastically mention that he has a very rich contract for next year too.
Almost $20 million. Another foul ball off the bat of Roger Cedeno.
But let's face it, you know, guys that have been around as long as he has, and he's made the money he's made, you know, they're out here because, like you said, they miss the competition, the love of the game. And you've got to stay in it as long as you have that fire, that passion, because you'll regret it if you leave too soon.
Renteria on deck, a 1-2 pitch. Cedeno strikes out. First strikeout for Brandon Webb. College football Saturday returns this week with a doubleheader. First, Northern Illinois looks to win their 2nd straight. They'll take on Iowa State. Then 20th ranked Wisconsin invades the desert to take on upset-minded Arizona. All begins tomorrow at 11. And it's only here on FSN Midwest.
Got a great and very nice letter from Robert Berman from Tuxedo Park, New York. We really appreciate your comments, Robert.
Here's Renteria. 1 for 4 last night. He's been scuffling. Average down to 284. Maybe they're just going to get it out of their system right now. Edgar's going to hit his funk right now, and the team has dropped 6 of 9. And like you said, it might be a positive. Maybe a wake-up call a little bit. Get you refocused down the stretch.
And that's the way you look at things. You know, they had played so hard for so long. Tony was so proud of them, the way they grinded out. They kept on charging. But, you know, I would have been very concerned if they would have played that way all the way through the regular season. Then I would have been, not that you can't get up for the postseason, but, you know, at some point you got to have a little losing streak. Have it now. Refocus. Get ready to make a charge down the stretch and be ready for postseason. And as Tony said, you know, he said, I can accept losing, but don't have an ugly game and beat yourself.
3-0 the count on the Cardinals shortstop, Renteria. Chicago has jumped out to a 3-0 lead on Cincinnati. We'll keep an eye on that ball game for you. Well, you'd like to see the Cardinals wrap it up in front of their home fans, but very well could wait till next week on the road. We'll be in Milwaukee, then we go to Colorado and Houston.
Mathematically, there is the potential for them to win it tomorrow night. With Cardinals would have to win tonight, Cubs lose, Cardinals win tomorrow afternoon, and then see the Cubs lose tomorrow night on Joe Nuxall getaway or retirement night in Cincinnati.
It's funny, Joe then said last time we were there, he's supposed to retire after the season. He said, well, I still may come back and do about 50 games next year. And there's a ground ball. Edmonds was running on the pitch, so Renteria retired. Could not turn the double play. You've got a ground ball pitcher, and that's what we're going to see tonight from Tony La Russa, starting the runners. An awful lot.
Yeah, already had turned one double play, and so anytime you get that situation, you're going to try and send that runner. His catcher's only thrown out 1 of 9 runners. Would be Steelers, but it was one of his most recent attempts.
Well, John Mabry has had a great year in my mind.
Absolutely, but I know we all are pulling for John to hit over 300. Just put the icing on the cake.
He's at 297, and he grounds it towards second base, and the Cardinals strand a man, and we head to the third. And here at Busch, there's no score.
Feed your family for less this week during Schnucks Dollar Sale. The savings begin with Pilgrim's Pride bone-in split chicken breasts for just $1 a pound or less. Stock up on all varieties of Michelinas or budget gourmet entrees. Take home 10 for $10. All varieties of Edie's Sherbet or Edie's ice cream are on sale. Pick up 3 cartons for $10. And save $1 off your favorite Kellogg's cereal. Take $1 off any box. Schnucks, we make it easy.
At Steak and Shake, we serve old-fashioned milkshakes. They're hand-dipped, made with real milk, and topped with whipped cream and a cherry. Other places... If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
Now we'll pour any two of your favorite milkshakes into a single glass, thereby raising the thorny philosophical question, is the glass half chocolate or half banana? Introducing new side-by-side milkshakes.
Steak and Shake.
Cheap, cheap, burn, burn.
Hi, I'm Fred from Dirt Cheap Beer and Liquor. The more she drinks, the better you look. And remember, size really does matter. Carry a big wallet with the money you save with our low price, low tier products.
Cheap, cheap.
Please visit us. We are the last refuge of the persecuted smoker, and we really are grateful for your business.
Cheap, cheap, fun, fun.
Have fun, but drink responsibly. Be careful out there.
The best damn sports show, period. Tonight on FSN.
Baseball history brought to you by Schnucks. September 17th, Stan the Man makes his major league debut back in 41, and in 53, Ernie Banks would do it as well. Two of the all-time greats in baseball. And it's our Schnucks This Day in Baseball History as Jerry Gill will dig in. I want to thank Stan and Stan the Man Inc. They donated an awful lot to my golf tournament, and I can't thank them enough. As this one flies to Cedeno in left field. Our good buddy Craig Conroy, now with the Los Angeles Kings, is in attendance tonight. For those of you that don't know who Craig is, hockey player. He's got some time on his hands. It's his lovely wife to his right and your left, your screen.
Yeah, unfortunate, and I know you were holding out hope to the last second, but let's hope that things prevail and we get the boys back on the ice as quick as possible.
Who did we have in here the other night? Chuck and Waite. This is Brandon Webb. No balls and 2 strikes.
This is when you can see Woody work over young and experienced hitters. This is their pitcher, but same is going to hold true.
2 strikeouts. Well, are you looking to commemorate this incredible season? The Post-Dispatch Cardinals pin collection is offering 28 collector's pins for purchase with a different pin released each day. This started back on September 13th. You take the pin and you go to the Post-Dispatch, you match them up. Got that collector's booklet. It's great.
They got like a coupon every day. Shows you what, 4 or 5 retailers that you can go to and pick up your daily pin. Really, I've seen the whole set. My fingers weren't quick enough to extract it from the Cardinals, but those are. It's a beautiful set, all finished.
Here's Torero, the center fielder. So you take the pin coupon, which is available daily on the Post-Dispatch to participating retailers throughout the St. Louis area. You purchase one of those pins. Different player featured each day. Two balls and a strike with 2 outs and nobody on. No hits allowed from Woody thus far. 2-2. .78 degrees, our game time temperature tonight.
Seen that young lady today. A big hello to Central Elementary School in Roxana. Redbird and I were out there harassing all the kids. School will never be the same.
A full count. Cintron on deck. Fouled off the mask of Mike Matheny. Torero signed with the Diamondbacks at the age of 17 from the Dominican. The 3-2 pitch fouled back. Al Padrique actually was saying prior to the game that he had him for 3 years in the minor league system. Both came up through the Diamondbacks minor league system.
He's 24 years of age, was the organization minor league player of the month for April. He only got 4 home runs, but his last one on Wednesday landed in the pool out in right field.
Now, a lot of people compare him to Bernie Williams as far as size and how they play center field. And he strikes out. He's 0 for 2. Matheny on the first pitch and a foul ball for strike 1. Mike batting .247 on the year. We're scoreless here at Busch Stadium as we start playing the bottom of the 3rd. Matheny, Woody Williams, and Tony Womack for the Cardinals. Mike drills this one into deep left field. Kroger back, and that ball is gone over the Diamondbacks bullpen, and it's 1-0 St. Louis. Home run number 5 for Mike Matheny.
That's only number 5, but the 4th home run he hit against Los Angeles was the winner for young man for the Hyundai home run hitting contest. He get nice and soft with the hands, just loosey-goosey, and just connects. So far, that's about the only way people have been scoring off of Brandon Webb, and now Woody's hit in the hand, and he's tossed.
Webb is tossed from the game. As Woody was hit on the hand, let's hope he's all right.
Well, he's all right, but that's kind of ridiculous. Just because a pitch is up and in. That's hard to explain that to the pitcher.
Mark O'Neill out to check on Woody Williams, the Cardinal trainer.
He's stepping into it. I mean, these guys don't like to see their pitcher being hit, but I don't think there's anything intentional in that. It's a 1-0 ball game. The pitcher's up there. The ball is basically inside. I mean, look at Woody lifts his leg up, or otherwise he gets out of the way pretty easy.
Which hand did a catch of Woody Williams?
I couldn't tell, but I thought it was his left one.
Enrique is going to get his money's worth with the home plate umpire. That's Jerry Lane. He's gone. Bye-bye.
Well, I mean, they're struggling as it is, and now they've got one of their legitimate shots to win a ball game. He's tossed 1-0 in the 3rd inning.
Enrique is fighting for his job. Uncertainty beyond this year. Took over for Bob Brenly. So obviously no one was getting loose, and no one is up in the bullpen right now for the Diamondbacks. So
right hand, pitching hand.
That's a concern.
Put that little wrist sleeve compression on it to keep the swelling down.
We're still waiting for the Diamondbacks to motion out to their bullpen to make the change. That's Cintron, the second baseman.
Maybe he's going to pitch. Maybe he's going to go to the bathroom. Mark Davis was the bullpen coach, is now the pitching coach.
At some point, somebody's got to get up and get on the mound, and then they're going to allow him as much time as he needs to get loose. So Jerry Lane is ejected too. The starting pitcher, Brandon Webb. And Enrique, the manager of the Diamondbacks.
See, there's a good example why do you need to warn pitchers? Because the umpire has the ability to throw a guy out as soon as he thinks he was intentionally throwing at somebody.
I'm concerned about Woody. He's wearing that little brace on his right hand.
First hit of the game, too, the Cardinals.
Take another look at this high and inside delivery. We'll get down to Dave McKay, Al, and Woody at first base. They were both checking out the left and the right, so maybe it just glanced his right and caught the left, maybe primarily. So we head to a timeout with the Cardinals leading 1-0. A pitching change after the ejection here in the third by the Renaissance Grand Hotel, and that is the official hotel of FSN Midwest.
Lance Cormier been moved to the bullpen after making 5 starts for the Diamondbacks. 23-year-old began the season in El Paso, Double-A, promoted to Tucson, Triple-A on May 30th, where he was 3-3 with a 2.68 ERA and 8 starts. He was the 4th round of the 2002 draft.
Tony La Russa now talking with the home plate umpire. Was their side warned? Wonder if Woody got a warning.
Well, like I said, why warn people? Because umpires get themselves in trouble then because it used to be once teams were warned, any pitch that hit a batter, whether deliberate or not, it was an automatic ejection for the manager and the pitcher. They've revised that rule to now, after warnings are issued, it's up to the umpire's judgment. Well, we just saw that it's in their ability to eject somebody initially if they think he was deliberately thrown at somebody. So now you only put yourself in an awkward position if you warn benches and do not eject a pitcher.
So Tony La Russa now has to talk with Mike Matheny, and I'm sure they're going to talk with Woody when he gets back in the dugout. Lorenzo Bundy is taking over now, I guess, as the manager. He's a bench coach for Arizona. Aflac trivia question: the last Cardinal to cross home plate at Sportsman's Park and the first to score at Busch Stadium.
Oh, very easy. Very easy.
Aflac trivia question. Hope you enjoyed our visit with Mark Lamping, getting an update on the stadium and the progress here in St. Louis. By the way, got really a nice note from Leon and Betty Young in Harrison, Arkansas. And they said they've been fans for over 65 years. Their suggestion for the name of the new ballpark would have been Busch Sportsman's Memorial Park. So we've got Busch Stadium. No Sportsman's.
Happy birthday to Gene Underwood. From Dale and Diane, grandchildren, Scott and Aaron. Bloomfield, Missouri. Also one of those late deals that arrived to us. Happy birthday to Annie Miller. He turned 11 back in a few days ago. So happy birthday to Annie Miller, 11 years old, from her mom and dad and brother John, Caitlin, and her new puppy Mia.
Lance Cormier takes over.
It was written by Mia too.
And a ball to Tony Womack. We're back to the top of the order. The first two in this inning have reached with a home run off the bat of Mike Matheny. Woody Williams hit by the pitch, and now Cormier takes over for Brandon Webb, who obviously was hot when he left this ball game and immediately was ejected by the home plate umpire. Al Pedrique, the manager of the Diamondbacks, then ejected for arguing it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Womack off the glove of Cormier. Can he beat it out? Out at first. Tony was saying that Hillenbrand wasn't even on the bag.
Well, we'll see. Just a rocket right back at the pitcher. Cormier knocks it down, but Lance scrambles after it and throws a seed to first base and makes a play. I think there's what you're talking about. It looked like he reached back for the bag and might have missed it
right
behind the bag.
Larry Walker grounds it towards the middle. Backhanded play by Cintron. Loose baseball, trying to score from third. Here he is, the play at the plate, and Woody is gunned down. Not the smartest base running play with Pujols coming up and just 1 out. Now there's 2 outs. You don't fault a player for being aggressive, but you do have Albert Pujols coming up.
Well, here's another indication of how poorly they played defensively. That is Cintron's 16th error, allowing Walker to get on, but Hillenbrand recovers and Snyder seals off home plate, and Woody never got to it.
Give Cintron an error on that. Dan McLaughlin, Al Hrabosky with you on FSN Midwest. And a check on the runner over there. That's Larry Walker. 2 down now. And Pujols, instead of having first and third, just 1 out, now digs in. And the count with the ball and no strikes. Jim Edmonds on deck.
Already a huge season for Albert Pujols, but trying to pad those numbers. Got a chance to get over 100 extra base hits. Trying to become only the 4th Cardinal to get to 400 total bases.
Put it in perspective. The last to pick up 400 total bases, Stan Musial did it back in 1948. And Albert Pujols is on pace for just short of that at 396. Four straight and he walks. First and second, and it brings in Edmonds. Our Bank of America higher standard. You see the total bases. Compare that to Joe D. It's amazing, isn't it? The numbers just keep stacking up for Albert Pujols. And you can make a case it's the greatest start in the history of Major League Baseball to a career. What Pujols has done at the plate. Cardinals have been the recipients of 3 walks. And Edmonds grounds it back, and what a play. Behind his back, Cormier. And he saves a run. He's been busy since he just came in. Watch this, Dandy, as we head to break. Aflac trivia question here at Busch Stadium in downtown St. Louis. The last Cardinal to cross home plate at Sportsman's Park, and the first to score at Busch Stadium. The last Cardinal. There you go, Al. Our Aflac trivia question.
Wasn't as easy as I thought it was.
Who'd you think?
I thought it was Shannon.
I did too, but didn't Shannon have the first home run?
He had the last and first. Maybe that was it.
That's what I was thinking. Top of the 4th, and Woody back to work. 2, 3, and 4 in the order. Alex Cintron grounded Albert Pujols his first time. He's 0 for 1. Cintron signed with the Diamondbacks back in '97. He weighed 150 pounds at the time. Really got in the weight room, and it made a difference as he flies here to Edmonds for the first out. And it brings in Danny Bautista.
Ready to relax a little bit about Woody.
Hit on the hand, and looks like he's just fine out there.
He's such a tough competitor. He's going to gut it out even if he was hurt. But I think he likes this opportunity to expose a relatively inexperienced team and have a chance to really tantalize them. He'll throw a fastball that'll catch them by surprise, but then he'll expand the strike zone, have them off balance.
Bautista has been around for a while. Came up back in '93 with Detroit. Has been with the Braves, the Marlins, and now the Diamondbacks. Been with the D-backs since back in 2000. 1-1 pitch. Good pitch from Woody. 1-2. Pretty much a free swinger up there, and he lines this one into right field, backing up Walker, and he'll make the play. Larry Walker out there in right field tonight. That's out number 2.
A couple of the more experienced hitters in this inning. Woody has utilized his defense perfectly on a couple line drives, but right at his fielders. It's also part of pitching.
There's Shea Hillenbrand, 2 outs, nobody on. Hillenbrand came over from Boston for Byung-Hyun Kim. I don't know if you've seen it, but we'll get into this next time Hillenbrand comes up, as Walker will put this one away. Woody has a 1-2-3 inning. We move to the bottom of the 4th. Cedeno, Renteria, and Mabry coming up for St. Louis. The family arriving at the game in their all-new Ford Windstar. Now up to $6,000 cash back or 0% APR for 60 months. Only at your quality Ford stores. Your home run to Cardinal baseball fun. Here's Roger Cedeno. 1-0 St. Louis here in the bottom of the fourth, and Cedeno takes another ball that's 2-0. Line on Brandon Webb, 2 innings pitched, 1 run, 1 hit. The home run from Mike Matheny. Struck out 1, walked 2, and then was ejected after hitting Woody Williams following the home run. This is the second inning of work for Lance Cormier. Cedeno came up with the Dodgers back in 1995. Been with the Mets, the Astros, the Tigers, and now St. Louis.
34th start of the year.
Native of Venezuela. Talking with him before the game, he said his favorite player was Ricky Henderson.
Cardinals have won 20 of his last 28 games when he starts.
Slaps this one to the opposite field. That drops for a hit. Roger Cedeno picks up the Cardinals' second hit tonight. It brings in Renteria.
Slap hitter is a good, accurate description. Most teams will play that left fielder fairly shallow and close to the left field line, holding him to a single.
You wonder if the Cardinals will hit and run like they did when Brandon Webb was in the game, because Webb, a ground ball pitcher, trying to avoid the double play. And personally, I think, Al, they've gotten a little away from that. They pitch out, and Cedeno is back to first. I like to see that. Put the pressure, especially on a young team and a young defensive unit like this.
Exactly right. And part of being a good base stealer is knowing when a pitch out is going to be made. You just detect a little different delivery from your pitcher. And that's why Roger wasn't thrown out, because he saw, as he started to go to second base, he saw maybe a pitcher a little more upright, not throwing quite as hard, read the pitch out. Dave McKay might have yelled at him also, a little different look to the pitcher. And you know, this kid's got quick feet. We've seen that defensively, the way he can scramble.
Count of 2-0. John Mabry on deck. Edgar grounded to third his first time. That was close over at first.
And Roger didn't hurt himself. Going back into the bag, and very close right there. Like he lower back or something jammed himself.
Chicago has jumped out to a 6-0 lead against Cincinnati. Three 0 the count on Renteria.
How to get Edgar going.
Ball 4. So the first two have reached, and now time is called by the catcher, Chris Snyder, to talk it over. With Cormier, 2 on, nobody out for Mabry. Our good buddy Rich Durkis, who is the visiting clubhouse guard. One of our good friends was recently in the hospital, and I know he's out. He got out last night from St. Anthony's. He's watching tonight. And Rich, get healthy and get on down to the ballpark. We miss you down here. He's been here forever.
Oh, those guys are all the people behind the scenes do such a great job to make it a very enjoyable experience for the fans, and guys like Rich help us out in giving us access.
Ball 1 to Mabry. 5 straight balls now.
Mark Davis sprinting out there.
What do you do here with Mabry with 2 runners on and ahead in the count? You wait for that strike, or do you try to jump on it even though he's thrown 5 straight balls? Personally, I wait, but I could see if they turned him loose, if he grooves one here.
Well, you try and be disciplined. John's been around a long time. He's got a pretty good batting eye, but you would not be concerned if he took a pitch, but if one was to his liking.
Just catches the corner. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Even though that was a strike, that would not be a pitch you would be criticized if you swung at that one, because you couldn't do much with it. Pretty good pitcher's pitch.
Pretty good speed out there too. With Cedeno and Renteria. Cedeno had started towards the bag at third. And Jerry Gill, the shortstop, was right there. If Cormier decided to throw, they would have had him. 1-1 pitch. 1-2. With Mike Matheny on deck. He is homer tonight. Cardinals leading 1-0. Just joining us, Brandon Webb was ejected after Matheny hit the home run. Next pitch hit Woody Williams. He was ejected. Enrique, the manager for the Diamondbacks, was ejected. With 2 runners on, the 1-2 pitch to Mabry. Big series with the Yankees and Boston starting tonight. They're in a rain delay with the Red Sox on top 1-0. That's in the bottom of the 3rd. Apparently a lot of rain up east as Pittsburgh was postponed against the Mets today at home. 3-2 on Mabry.
For Schilling last night, won his 20th ball game.
Is he your Cy Young Award winner right now in the American League? Have to look at Santana, Minnesota too.
Yep, he's been
left-hander.
very good second half. Minnesota's playing right now, and Schilling may be watching this game, so I'll give it to Schilling.
There you go. Count of 3 balls and 2 strikes on Mabry. Here it comes. John rips it into right field. Cedeno is going to be held up at third. It'll be the bases loaded and nobody out. And in steps Mike Matheny. Cardinals have already had 1 man thrown out at the plate. That was Woody Williams.
You see, he didn't get a good read, and that was a low line drive. He wasn't sure it was going to clear the infield. So he kind of held his position at second base a little bit. Good base running by Renteria to recognize that the man in front of him was not going home and not running up his backside. Part of the responsibility is, sure, you want to go from first to third, but you better make sure the guy ahead of you is taking 2 bases too.
Pretty good numbers for Mike Matheny with the bases loaded. Curveball is pulled and it's foul. It's strike 1. The Cardinals own 3 hits tonight. And a chance to bust this game open with Mike Matheny at the plate. Woody Williams, a good hitting pitcher on deck. Getting started with a base hit from Cedeno as he slapped it into left. A walk to Renteria on 4 straight. Mabry on a 3-2 pitch. Lined it into right for a base hit. So the base is loaded for Mike Matheny, who homered earlier tonight. This crowd coming alive a little bit here at Busch. Did you notice it was a late arriving crowd tonight? First inning, I saw some empty seats. What's going on, Al?
Traffic.
1-1 pitch. Bounced in the dirt. Nice play there from Snyder. 2-1.
Breaking ball bouncing way out in front of the plate. Snyder does a good job to shift to his right and block that ball.
Cardinals' magic number is at 4.
Playing an inexperienced team that's had a lot of injuries and a lot of call-ups, but just because you're supposed to beat them, Tony's not going to take anything for granted and wants to wrap this thing up right away.
And a 2-1 pitch. Pop foul behind us. And into the upper deck here at Busch Stadium in downtown St. Louis. We're glad you're with us on FSN Midwest. Dan McLaughlin, Al Raboski with you. Our Bud Sports crew of Mike Helling and Tom Mee and Doug Stanton, Lindsey Polite, Brian McCann, Kim Everly, Nadia Bruno, Tim Garcia up here in our booth. And a 2-2 pitch. Got him on the outside corner. Cormier, you're thinking get the double play and get out of this inning. That's his first strikeout.
Now, the reason why I thought that was a poor ejection Jerry Lane threw out the starter, Webb, was because, I mean, it came right after the first pitch, right after Matheny hit the home run, pitch up and in. But you're talking about a pitcher that has terrific movement on his ball. He's lead the league in walks and also in hit batsmen. So, I mean, you know, he's not trying to retaliate against Woody Williams. The ball just got away from him.
I was shocked when they threw him out. But I'm sure Jerry Lane is thinking it's the pitcher, and he's going to try to control things as Woody hits this one into right center field. Pretty well hit. In front of the track, it's caught. That will score a run. Cedeno will score. Woody helping himself out. It's 2-0 St. Louis. RBI number 2 on the year for Woody, the former college shortstop, very good hitting pitcher. And he showed us why there. That was drilled into right center field.
Well, we also know he's a very good competitor, and after being hit by a pitch, he wants to make a statement, particularly after he was thrown out at the plate. But bases loaded here, and a hanging breaking ball, stays with it, has his weight back, and Cedeno, was a very easy read for him because it was deep enough. He could just stay at the bag if it got over the head, as the other 2 runners had advanced all the way to the base in front of them, but then they had to retrace their steps.
Runners at first and second. This is Tony Womack, who's 0 for 2. Larry Walker on deck. Cardinals, in defense of this little hiccup they've not had their everyday lineup in there very much. Scott Rowland has missed the entire homestand so far. Probably won't play during this homestand.
Yesterday they had the season high 4 errors, and they had 4 regulars out of the lineup. But you know, we also have credited this bench, and one of the reasons why they have the best record in baseball is that it's been very good. So you still would like to think that they're capable of playing solid defense.
1 ball, 1 strike. Womack, swing and a miss. He was robbed by Cormier. He was the first man that dug in against this right-hander after Webb was ejected, and hit it right back to him. And Tony tonight is 0 for 2, hitting .304 on the year.
All spread out, and probably the furthest off the left field line we've seen any left fielder against Tony Womack.
And the deepest too. That's Kroger out there in left. This one is popped up. The shortstop backing up. Outfield Grasson makes the play. That's Jerry Gill. Cardinals score 1. They lead it 2-0 behind Woody Williams. Brought to you by Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. And we will have the Diamondbacks and Cardinals on Big Fox tomorrow. Casey Fossum and Chris Carpenter. And we hope you don't forget that tomorrow's game at Busch against Arizona has moved up to a 12:25 first pitch to accommodate that national telecast. So again, 12:25 the first pitch tomorrow. If you have tickets, get on down there.
And your ticket is going to say 3:05, but due to Fox Net, they've changed that one.
Curveball misses low. 1 ball, 1 strike on Chad Tracy. John Braun is watching tonight. Big Cardinal fan in St. Charles. Manager of Crazy Bowls and Wraps, it says here, and watching tonight. Big Cardinal fan. 2 balls and a strike on Tracy. Pulls this one foul as the Diamondbacks are still looking for their first hit. They're not hitting this game. 3-0. Woody's looked good. One more road trip to go, Al. We've got Milwaukee, Colorado, and Houston coming up next week. And we'll come home for what? 3 games, and that's it, right?
3 games, and then postseason.
2-2 pitch. Goodbye. 4 strikeouts tonight for Woody Williams.
Woody's the kind of pitcher that he can take advantage of that strike zone from Jerry Lane down and away.
You know what that is, Al? That's a Hardy's hot pitch, buddy.
Absolutely. Look at Matheny set up outside. Doesn't even flinch. Not even muscle is moved from the back as you see it from the front on the next delivery.
Now it's Chris Snyder. Who are these guys? Chris Snyder, Chad Tracy, Josh Kroger, Jerry Gill. First time through when we saw him, we had no idea who these guys were.
Well, I think they're going to find out who Woody Williams is. Excellent pitcher with good control, great competitor.
And on 0-2, it's popped up. Matheny will give it a look, but it's out of play.
I think they got somebody old enough to have that bald spot.
Could be Matt Williams. You don't know.
I don't think so.
0-2 pitch. Inside corner, and it's called a ball.
Woody wanted that one.
The Cardinals have had their share of opportunities tonight to really have a much bigger lead. You go back to the Woody Williams play at the plate. They would have had first and third. Now Albert Pujols up with just one out. Cardinals at the bottom of the fourth, and the bases loaded and nobody out, only got one run in. And they only lead it 2-0 here in the fifth.
If you really look at it during this losing streak, their focus has been a little bit wavering. They have not played as well defensively, but their timely hitting has been very spotty. They could have blown open several games.
1-2 pitch, misses outside, 2-2.
Snyder, Arizona's second-round draft pick in 2002. Out of the University of Houston. These two guys know each other as alumni. Woody Williams went to the University of Houston, played shortstop. Is that the Cougars?
You got it. Weren't you a big fan of Vislama Jamma?
It must have been.
Clyde Drexler and the Dream, Akeem Olajuwon.
Oh yes.
Five Slamma Jamma. And you have what? David Klingler was there, right?
Yeah.
Quarterback. Two and two the count. Cardinals lead their division by a wide margin, 14.5 games over Chicago with a magic number of 4. Arizona with a record of 46 and 101. Good at bat there by Snyder after fouling off a couple of pitches. It was 0-2, and Woody's shaking his head. I'm sure he's wondering where some of those pitches were.
The only base runner for Arizona has been Snyder. He's walked twice now.
And it brings in Josh Kroger. Wild card situation is bunched in the National League. It'll be fun down the stretch. You got San Francisco. They're at home tonight with Bonds trying to get 700. Lead it by a half game over Chicago. Cubs lead their game 7-1, and that one is pulled down the right field line, and it's off the wall. Played perfectly by Larry Walker. And he holds Kroger to a single. Well, that was smoked. And it's first and third with one out.
Seven-time Gold Glover Larry Walker out in right field. The ball's going to be hooking away from him into the corner, and plays the carom perfectly and gets it back in very quickly. So he retrieves the ball, and then he still has that accurate and strong throwing arm. Just getting it back quickly will stop that runner from going from first to second.
That's one. Can they turn two? Double play. They turn an all-important double play off the bat of Gill. Good turn out there at second base by Tony Womack, and it's 2-zip St. Louis. The baseball game of the week is back with what promises to be an incredible race for the playoffs. The Diamondbacks take on the leading Cardinals, or the Red Sox and Yankees will be on. Coverage begins at noon Central, and it's only on Fox. Al Raboski, Dan McLaughlin with you. Cardinals lead it by the score of 2-0. Here's Larry Walker. And a ground ball off the pitcher to the second baseman. A leadoff hit for Walker. So leadoff hit for Larry Walker. And now they're going to check on the pitcher. And that is Cormier.
So far, Lance hasn't really moved too much around there. Did catch him on the leg. Trainer out to talk to him, along with Jerry Lane. Lorenzo Bundy, who's taken over for the ejected manager of Arizona.
So Cormier was hit by that ground ball off the bat of Walker, but looks like he's going to be all right.
Got him on the back of the left leg around the calf area, so there's a lot of meat there.
He's made some nice plays tonight.
Well, you know, he's been a target. That's third ball right back at him.
Our good buddy Brandon is up here, and a good luck charm in our booth. Here's Albert Pujols. And the first pitch is a strike. Brandon is with us right here. He was on the field. He got Albert Pujols' autograph. He got the one and only Al Raboski. Look at that. You're on TV, yeah. Man. Oh, cool.
And I think he's got play-by-play abilities.
Hey, give me a chance to just settle in here, will you?
You used to be the young kid.
That's right. I like it. Somebody actually younger than me with a headset on. Larry Walker is the runner at first base, and the pitch is low and outside. 2-1 on Albert Pujols. Brandon was telling me Albert Pujols is his favorite hitter. Favorite hitter. That's a pretty good choice. 2 balls and 1 strike with Edmonds on deck. So you were on the field, shaking hands with the guys, hanging out in the locker room. Pretty neat experience, huh? I bet. A 2-1 pitch here to Albert Pujols. A check swing, defensive swing, and a fly ball into right field, and still carries all the way out there to Danny Bautista, who makes the play for the first out. And Pujols is hit into a double play, walked, and fly to right.
I bet Jim Edmonds is your favorite player right now at the plate.
It's unfortunate that the people at home could not be wearing a headset like us three. Then they could hear Tommy, our director, talking to Brandon. Our producer, Mike Helling, is talking. You had no idea what was going on in that headset, did you? That's our guys in the truck. They're the best in the business. You were shocked. Walker is the runner at first base with 1 out. Edmonds tonight is 0 for 1. Has a walk, and he's grounded back to the pitcher on an unbelievable play from Cormier. That was that behind the back play. He's also taken a hit away from Tony Womack on a scorcher right back at him.
Edmonds has a chance to get a career high in average, home runs, and RBIs. Already equaled his home run total of 2,000 with 42 home runs. It's 1 away from his career high of 110 RBIs. Cormier spent a lot of time worrying about Larry Walker. Larry's 6 for 6 in stolen bases this season and 4-0 as a Cardinal.
The 1-0 pitch. 2-0. Roger Cedeno is on deck. Walker did a lot of running when he first got here. Now it's 3-0.
And then he remembered his age.
Yeah, I think so. Hasn't been running quite as much. 3-0, turn him loose. Break down the last 40 games for Jim Edmonds, hitting .397.
Over 20 home runs since the All-Star break.
He looks at ball 4. So walk to Jim Edmonds. That's a third handed out by Lance Cormier. Diamondbacks do have a reliever up and throwing in their bullpen and getting loose.
Mark Davis sprinting out again.
Sam Smoot is watching in Louisiana tonight. Tina Schultz and Tina's son AJ are here. Want to say hi to Grandpa. Cardinals have out hit Arizona 4-1, lead it 2-0, and now the hitter is Roger Cedeno. Cedeno is 1 for 2 with a run scored. Scored that back in the 4th on a sacrifice fly from Woody Williams. First and second, and a ball in the dirt. Cormier came into a tough spot after Brandon Webb had been ejected in this game and not been warming up, obviously. That was back in the 3rd inning.
His ability to field his position, he's
saved him.
Saved him, yeah. Womack line one right back aim, knocked it down and threw out the speedy runner in the final out of the 3rd inning. He made another nice play, one off of Edmonds.
He had broken his bat, and he did. As Nate will retrieve that bat and get him a new one. 1 ball, 1 strike is the count on Cedeno. Unfortunately, there's rain in New York with Boston and the Yankees. Couldn't wait to watch that series as Boston comes in 3.5 games out. This time last month they were 10.5 games out. So including tonight, they've got 6 games left between the two. Inside 2-1. Minnesota leads in the Central of the American League by 13.5 over Chicago. Seen this pitcher throw a lot of off-speed deliveries on the count of 2-1. That's another one. Breaking ball misses a little upstairs, and now the count is 3-1. I'm talking with Whitey Herzog the other day. He said this was the situation in which he doesn't see it ever happen anymore in baseball. A count of 3 balls and a strike and runners not moving. He said speed and running is the biggest part that's not in the game anymore. Curveball in there for a strike.
You know, some managers felt that it was too predictable, the old traditional running counts, so they switched off a little bit. A lot more is paid attention to the base running game. Managers, one of the reasons the game has slowed down is managers relaying signs for their catcher to the pitcher.
Not running here, and the pitch is swung on and missed by Cedeno. Curveball, curveball, curveball there. Two outs, and now the hitter is Renteria. Edgar is walked, and he's also grounded to third. So 2 outs, runners at first and second. Mabry on deck, and it's Edgar hitting .284, 10 homers, 65 RBIs. Curveball, another one, and it's a strike.
Another example of the Cardinals struggling against a pitcher they've seen for the first time.
Next pitch to Edgar, up and in. Haven't seen him do that very much. Pitch inside. You come in after a warning, it's got to be tough for a reliever, Al. I mean, think about that. If you're warned,
if you think that way, you're in trouble. You've got to pitch your own game, and that's where I was talking about where they made the rule change. If you are pitching and pitching inside, even if you hit a batter, it's not an automatic ejection anymore. Foul ball.
1-2. Things are going bad. You get cheated on a swing like that, and you get a foul ball. Cubbies leading 7-1 in their ball game, heading to the 8th. Curveball up the middle, and a nice play by the shortstop, and a flip to the second baseman Cintron, and the Cardinals strand 2. We played 5, and the Cardinals lead it by the score of 2-0. You're watching Cardinals baseball on FSN Midwest. Cardinals with a lead of 2-0. A look at the Dome. Football season in full gear as the Rams will face Atlanta this weekend. Cardinals about hit Arizona 4-1 and taken over in left field. It's Shota Taguchi. Wonder if Roger Cedeno may have been a little banged up. Remember that slide at first base?
Slide, and I think he might have jarred his lower back or something. Got pinch hitter Doug DeVore. He's been a more productive hitter of late. Last 3 games with the bat, he's 3 for 8. Played some left field recently.
Popped up behind home plate, out of play. Count of 2 balls, 2 strikes. DeVore in the top of the order.
3 for 16 as a pinch hitter, including his first big league hit back on May the 9th versus Philly. Recalled on September the 4th when they expanded the rosters from Tucson.
Pitch up and in, 3-2. The 3-2. Down the left field line, it's slicing. Mabry, does he have a play? Can't come up with it. Tough play for John Mabry. Not playing there every day. That's a tough one right there, Al.
Very tough, trying to run down the railing, reaching back over the ball. You get a pretty good look at it here, and then off the left-hander is going to kind of slice away from him. He's checking himself out. He's the only thing he could have done, and he really may not have the foot speed to do it, was to get up against that wall, put his back to it, and then try to readjust instead of trying to run parallel to the wall and reaching over the shoulder.
A 3-2 pitch. Out of play. Woody is working here in the 6th inning. 1 hit allowed. He struck out 4 on the night. He's walked 2.
Steve Sparks is warming up. Soon he'll be the next pitcher.
The knuckleballer. Another 3-2 pitch. He got him. Strikeout number 5 for Woody Williams.
Well, Woody can just work over these hitters. He's the type of pitcher, even with young hitters, he can't throw it in the strike zone, but he's a master at changing speeds, throwing on both sides of the plate, up and down. Fierce competitor. He's trying to turn the tide of the Cardinals and whittle away at that magic number, which stands at 4.
Fun attempt by Torero. Barehanded. Mabry safe at first. Great effort though by John Mabry. And a base hit for Torero, the center fielder. He is 1 for 3.
It's worth repeating. I said it last night that John Mabry is not Scott Rowland, but he definitely has not embarrassed himself at all and has played a much better third baseman than I think a lot of us thought he was capable of. And you know he's never going to lack for his effort.
Mentioned that Scott Rowland not in the lineup questionable for the first few games in Milwaukee, but Tony La Russa indicating that they're in a clinching situation. He might trot him out there for the final 3 outs.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, it would. Curveball and a strike to Cintron.
We've seen Scotty make a circus ballet catch, diving somersaults to get the final out, send the Cardinals to postseason play 2 years ago.
Also resting Reggie Sanders tonight, so he can play the day games on Saturday and Sunday. If you're wondering about Julian Tavares, remember he left the game last night limping. It was a cramp. Nothing serious. Popped up left side.
I don't know what your take is, but yesterday, at the beginning of the week, he thought his appeal would be heard of his 10-game suspension. Then they postponed that and moved it back to Tuesday in Milwaukee.
Right.
I mean, that's ridiculous. It's been almost 2 months, 6 weeks at least, that they suspended him. And now you get down to the point where it could have an adverse effect whether he's ready for postseason play.
0-2 pitch, slap foul. The tests have been done. No illegal substance. He says I didn't do it.
Well, the problem is the tests are not done by Major League Baseball.
Right.
Right.
But we did have Frank Cusimano on the scene.
You know, Frank's right on top of things, you know. There's one thing Frank knows is clean.
Popped into left. First chance here for So Taguchi. 2 outs. Let's go pitch by pitch, and this feature is brought to you by Chevrolet.
Breaking ball up, and then fastball, can't catch up to it. Now he starts expanding the strike zone. Finally he gets a breaking ball, had him out in front, hitting off that front foot, lifts a little pop up to Taguchi in left.
Japanese players went on strike.
I know, you know, that's what's so unbelievable is the respect they have for authority.
There's a base hit into center field, cut off by Edmonds. Terrera running hard around second base, and it's now first and third with 2 outs.
Good base running there, recognizing that Edmonds going to his left, reaching down, be very difficult even for the 6-time Gold Glover to not only cut the ball off, but running into the right field or towards the right field corner to right himself and throw back to third base. So good running speed and took advantage going from first to third. Nothing Edmonds could do.
You're talking about the Japanese players?
Yeah, I mean, they have such respect for positions of authority. That had to be a very difficult decision in the Japanese culture, but it's changing over there. And so this is their first strike. That's something about, because they were trying to merge a couple teams, right?
Right. 0-1 pitch to Shea Hillenbrand. Lines it into center. Edmonds won't get it, and the Diamondbacks are on the board. So a 2-out hit for Shea Hillenbrand. Back-to-back hits, and now it's a 2-1 game. RBI number 74.
Cardinals have been able to bunch their hits or get some timely hitting, and now they've got 3 hits in this inning off of Woody. The more experienced hitters, it's off the plate, but does a nice job of staying behind the ball and hitting the ball right back up the middle. It's out away from him and drills it up the middle, and they're on the scoreboard. And it's a 2-1 contest. Cardinals have already stranded 7 runners.
Chad Tracy, the hitter. Third baseman. Curveball a little up in the zone.
Tracy, 292 average, so he's holding his own with those 7 home runs, 51 RBIs. His biggest problem is his throwing arm. 25 errors, and most of them have been on throws.
Tied up with that pitch. It's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Chicago now pouring it on Cincinnati. It's 11-1. Reds have just unraveled. From where they were in early June to now. First and second with 2 outs. And the pitch is hit into left center field. Lining over, it's Edmonds. And he makes the play. Arizona gets on the board. We're midway through the 6th. And it's 2-1. Steve Sparks, knuckleballer, is into the ball game. And this call to the bullpen is brought to you by the St. Louis Renaissance Grand Hotel, the official hotel of FSN Midwest. 2-1 Cardinals on top. I always think it's fun to watch a knuckleballer. Tim Wakefield probably being the best of the bunch.
Probably current guys.
Charlie Huff was outstanding.
Nuxie. Phil Necro wasn't bad.
Yeah.
His brother Joe, who their father taught them the very elusive pitch.
Chris Snyder, the catcher, has changed his glove. Not so much a catcher's mitt, more a first baseman's glove, and that is hit into deep right field, and it is gone. A home run for John Mabry. That's number 11. Back to a 2-run lead, and it's 3-1 St. Louis.
Another multi-hit game for John. Get that average over 300 and keep it there. Last night he hit a home run, becoming the 7th Cardinal to have at least 10 home runs. And you wonder, did he try to slip a fastball by him? Or it just didn't do nothing. Just kind of sat right up there until he hit it, and it jumped out of here.
That's what you'll see sometimes, though, with those knuckleballs. They'll sit there. If they're not moving, boy, they are as hittable as any pitch.
He went flying.
Two and 0.
Middle infielders have the best knuckleballs.
Always playing catch
and backup
and
catchers
around.
like Cody McKay.
Right. And there's a reason for it. They're always playing catch and messing around with that kind of stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're exactly right.
3-0 on Mike Matheny, who was homer tonight. 3-1. He had the bases loaded last time up and nobody out. Struck out. This one is popped up on the infield. Hillenbrand is there. That's the first out with John Mabry and Larry Walker sitting together looking on.
John looked a little awkward on the first couple pitches, but jumped on the one he hit out, and Walker's going, I don't like knuckleballers.
I've said it before. Where would this team be without the contributions of John Mabry? Don't overlook what he's done this year. And the big guys get the attention which they deserve and should, but John Mabry quietly has come in and just done a heck of a job off the bench.
He plays several different positions. Does a tremendous job as a character guy in the clubhouse. Very, very well respected by his teammates. And probably the highest compliment we can give John Mabry is the guys in the truck like him as well as about a quarter of Pagnozzi. I mean, that's almost puts you in the Hall of Fame right there.
Line shot off the bat of Woody Williams right to Chad Tracy. Two outs.
You're talking about Tim Wakefield. I'm not mistaken, his major league debut was against the Cardinals, or at least it seemed like his first start was against St. Louis.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Cardinals LLC and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals LLC.
And Ted Simmons, who was in attendance tonight, was the GM of Pittsburgh at the time. I said, what's he got? He said he's got a real knuckleball.
Tell us about Ted Simmons and what he's doing these days in the game of baseball.
Teddy's working for San Diego and scouting the Cardinals for postseason play.
Womack is retired. He's 0 for 4. Mabry with the home run, and it's 3-1 Cards. And when they are gone, they're gone. That's it. Mark McGwire, of course, helping to promote the rally bands. Good stuff from Hardee's in helping out Cardinals care. This is Snyder, and the first pitch from Woody is inside, pitching in here to the 7th. The Cardinals leading by the score of 3-1. Snyder, Kroger, and Gill for Arizona. 3-1 Cardinals.
Just to finish up a little bit on Ted Simmons. He said, you know, if his team, the San Diego Padres, reached postseason, their first opponent would be St. Louis. And that's why he is working hard.
San Diego had a big blow as there's Ted Simmons with the glasses there.
There Teddy is.
Leo Green broke his finger. He's done for the year.
Yeah, they got Alex Gonzalez from Montreal.
Former Cub.
Shortstop.
Well hit into deep left field. Taguchi back near the wall, and it's off the wall. Snyder on his way to second base. Leadoff double. 5 hits tonight on both sides, and we'll see if that bullpen wants to start to get loose.
It's 2 walks and now a double by Snyder, so he's been a handful for Woody Williams, and that's 4 of those 5 hits have come in the last inning plus. Woody does have the low end of the order to deal with, so Kruger, Gill, and then a pinch hitter.
Ball 1 to Kroger, who is 1 for 2 tonight. And now Matheny calls time. As looked like he may have been crossed up on that pitch. Cal Eldred is getting loose along with Ray King in that bullpen. No fans are curious about this, Al. Playoff tickets will be put on sale at 8 a.m. next Wednesday, September 22nd. Be allowed to go into line outside of Busch Stadium at 6 p.m. the night before, if you're wondering. That is drilled into right field. Walker back, and it's over his head. He deked the runner at second base, it looked like. What a play by Larry Walker, because that should have scored the runner from second base. Walker was deking the runner. He deked everybody here in this ballpark.
I'm not sure he didn't deke himself initially, but the end result is they do not score. See him right there, then it gets over his head and turns, gets to the ball, and here you see the runner tagging back up, the runner at second base. So he thought that it was going to be caught, and he can't score.
So it's second and third, and time is called.
I wouldn't put it past Larry. He's that type of heads up, but it looked like his first step initially came in. I talked sideways.
Yeah, I talked with the broadcasters of the Rockies when they first got Larry Walker. They said, hey, great base runner, great hitter, Gold Glover out there, but they said you're going to be amazed at how many times he is going to deke runners on the base paths, and we've seen him do that a couple of times. I think you're right. It was a hard hit ball that maybe he misjudged a little bit, but by him playing it that way, he holds that runner at second base only to get to third.
And let's do say this: there was no way he had a chance to catch that ball.
Right.
Hit that sharply and on the line, and had enough elevation that it was going to get over his head and stay in the ballpark. But that was a rocket.
So back-to-back doubles.
So he sees that it's high enough, and you have to assume he felt that it was not going to go out of the ballpark, or it didn't make any difference if it did. But the way he played it, he deked that runner.
Great play.
And they're at second and third.
Corners are in for Jerry Gill. Base hit could tie this game up. Good friend Buddy Bates, who works in the Cardinal clubhouse, wants to make sure that we say hello to the newest Cardinal fan, Ryan Dalton. 7 pounds 7 ounces, born Monday the 13th in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Former St. Louis natives Jennifer and Dale Dalton, mother and baby girl, are doing fine. They're watching tonight in Tulsa. That's Buddy's sister-in-law, and Buddy Bates, one of the all-time greats here at Busch Stadium and with the Cardinals.
He is the best. So young
Is he
Dalton's
ever?
got the great uncle.
Curveball, the strike. 2-1. Buddy is the all-time best, man.
And of course, Rip Rowan, who is taking over now.
Womack has a play at the plate. Here it comes. They got him. A hesitation by the runner at third. And Womack had all kinds of time to make that play. That's the first out. Now it sets up a potential double play to end the inning. I think he was shocked to see that runner as late as he was on his jump from third base.
Now the neat thing about it is many infielders make the mistake of rushing that throw, not taking their time, and even that Womack had that Tommy John surgery. He was ready for day one, and his arm has gotten stronger and stronger. Mike Matheny has that ability to seal off the plate, and that is a big pick-me-up. That type of play right there might get Woody through this inning with runners at first and third and only one out.
Here's Baerga. Carlos Baerga with the Cardinals in spring training a few years ago, and he has extended his career. What kind of jump did he get?
Yeah, look, well, he's staying frozen.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. So Snyder made two base running mistakes right there, and cost a couple RBIs to guys. Woody wouldn't. It's a balk right there, and he's shaking his head. But I was more concerned, did he hurt himself?
Yeah.
As he tried to stop his motion, and then he realized he had to follow through with the delivery. And
is that a cleat getting caught?
I was thinking maybe a cleat gets caught. See him reach out there, and his heel hit first, and kind of stopped his momentum. And then he remembered, see his heel and his ankle may have went down. Baerga's immediately saying that Jerry Lane knew that.
Fair ball and a strike to Baerga. It's now 3-2.
Can't alter that motion and stop like that. Oliver Perez will tell you that rule.
That's right. Base hit could tie it up. Two balls and a strike. Baerga was able to convince Robbie Alomar to sign with the Diamondbacks. Cardinals had interest in Alomar. Now Alomar is done with Arizona. 2-1 pitch. 3-1. Torrero is the man on deck. Cardinals do have that left-hander King in the bullpen. He was throwing, and now it's just Eldred. Only takes Ray King about 2 pitches, and he's loose.
Carlos got a pinch hit single yesterday over the Rockies, but he's 2 for his last 12.
Curveball misses outside. Ball 4 to Baerga. 1 out walk. It's first and second. Back to the top of the order. Woody may be running out of gas.
His third walk.
Guerrero now the hitter. First and second with 1 out. A little giddy up on that pitch.
Tony's just asking to complete this inning, and your night is through.
Cardinals will have in the bottom of this inning Walker, Pujols, and Edmonds coming up. just missing outside. 1-1.
Going to do everything he can to let Woody have his be in position for his 11th win of the season. That's after spending April and May on the active roster trying to pitch himself into shape. Only 5 innings in Florida.
And a ground ball. Up to turn 2. Safe at first. Runners at the corners now for Cintron. Slowly hit and tough to turn the double play.
That wasn't hit hard enough, and Renteria fields it in front of the second base bag, kind of flips behind it to Womack. He can't get anything on his throw. And Luis has already demonstrated his foot speed.
Cintron 0 for 3. Big out here with runners at the corners. And it's popped up shallow right field. Womack calling for it. Tony's got it. And it stays 3-2. It's time to stretch here at Busch. And the Cardinals on top. But against the Cardinals, this is Shane Nance, the new pitcher for the Diamondbacks, left-hander. This is brought to you by the Renaissance Grand Hotel, the official hotel of Cardinal broadcast on FSN Midwest. It'll be Walker, Pujols, and Edmonds for the Cardinals, and there are the numbers on Shane Nance.
Not a lot of innings, but the Cardinals have seen him in the past.
Here's Walker with the Cardinals leading 3-2 here in the bottom of the 7th. Chicago will hold on. They lead at 12-4. 9th inning against Cincinnati, so the magic number stays at 4 unless the Cardinals can pick up a victory. It's down to 3. Will they do it by the end of the weekend? Matthew Weber is here, wants to say hi to his dad and Paul Weber, Mom Lori, and sister Brittany. Count of 2-1 on Larry Walker. Walker is 1 for 2 on the night. Reached on an air back in the 3rd. Walked in the 1st, singled in the 5th. Cubs win. It's now a final 12-4. So San Francisco takes to the field tonight at home, tied with Chicago in the wild card. The 3-2 pitch. Walker up the middle. That's a base hit. Good job of hitting to stay in there against this left-hander.
Lefty against lefty. Pitcher and hitter both have to keep that front shoulder in and stay on the ball. Nance's second stint with Arizona earlier in the season, he was on the disabled list, but the Cardinals saw him with Milwaukee and assume Larry Walker might have seen him.
Pujols hit by the pitch. So first and second, nobody out. And it brings in Jim Edmonds. That's the second Cardinal that's been hit tonight. The other Woody Williams.
Of course, there's a lot of fans wondering why is he not ejected. This time, Jerry Lane, to correct assessment, realized he was not trying to throw at Pujols.
Now the batter will be Edmonds. He's 0 for 1 tonight.
Edmonds has hit left-handed pitching very well this season. 343 against lefties, 5 of his 42 home runs. Right-handers just 310, 37 home runs.
First pitch is a strike. 109 RBIs. Cardinals have had their chances to bust this game open. They've not been able to do so. 0-1 pitch. Boston and New York back at it after a rain delay, and the Yankees have tied it up. It's 1-1. That game moving to the bottom of the 5th.
The Cardinals have stranded a lot of runners and lack of timely hitting and porous defense. I think those are just signs of concentration wavering. It may not be the worst thing, you know, just to have this little mini slump and then to tighten up the ranks and then charge down to the finish line and be ready for postseason play. At least that's the hope of Tony La Russa and his staff.
Here's a 2-1. Edmonds drills it into right field, but right at him. Bautista makes the play. Walker tagging up. Strong throw, and he is saved. That is a great base running play by Walker, and a ball that's hit so hard sometimes, Al, you're frozen. Then he's got to get back to the bag, and Bautista's got a very good arm and right.
A lot of people consider him one of the best, if not the best, base runner in the National League. So he takes a secondary lead, but he locates the ball, tags up, and Bautista really wound up. He's got a strong throwing arm, but he really took a lot of time in getting rid of the ball. Fairly accurate, but test the defense, and remember, most times you will win.
Runners at the corners now for Sho Taguchi. Remember, he replaced Roger Cedeno a couple of innings ago.
Lorenzo Bundy, the acting manager, appears that he wants to make a pitching change with Taguchi coming up and a right-hander warming up.
Might be a spot for a squeeze play. I'm going to let you sit on that when we come back. We'll talk about it. It's 3-2 St. Louis for Arizona with an ERA of 5.32. Opponents, though, barely hitting over 200 against him. Where's number 30? And he is the 5th pitcher used by Arizona tonight. Remember, Brandon Webb was ejected back in the 3rd, their starter.
Now, Bruni's only 22 years of age. He was their minor league pitcher of the year, splitting time in AA and AAA a year ago. So his first taste of the big league action comes into a key situation here in a close ball game. Cardinals lead by 1, but he inherits a pretty good mess. Runners at the corners. Walker and Pujols first and third, and 1 out.
One of the tough things for the Cardinals tonight, we touched upon this earlier, is the fact that the Redbirds haven't seen the majority of these hitters. I was talking with Mike Matheny prior to the game about a little bit of a scouting report. He said all these guys physically kind of look the same. We really haven't seen much of a book on these guys, and for Mitchell Page, it's the same thing for his hitters. With all the video that they have at their disposal, it's still tough until you see him in person.
And it's tough. And Jeff Bagwell confirmed this to me the other day. He said, you know, most hitters really have trouble with in-game corrections or adjustments.
What do you think about the squeeze here with Taguchi?
I think you can always think about this. This kid looks like real big. You wonder how mobile he is on the mound. Larry Walker, you know, you don't want to see anybody get hurt in contact at the plate, but Taguchi fundamentally very sound.
Now you've got 2 strikes.
Best way to stop that potential squeeze is to throw strikes.
So had one of the most dramatic hits of the year off of Kyle Farnsworth in Chicago when the Cardinals were down by 8 runs, and he tied it up. Pujols eventually won it. Struck out 2 nights ago to end the game. 1 out, 1st and 3rd, and a foul ball on 0-2.
Breaking ball down and in. Just got a piece of it to stay alive.
Boy, Cardinals have had some great chances. Woody Williams thrown out at the plate. Pujols, excuse me, coming up. Would have had 1st and 3rd, just 1 out. Had the bases loaded, nobody out, only got 1 run. 1st and 3rd here with just 1 out. A count of 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Following his very successful 2003 campaign, he pitched for Team USA during both the Arizona Fall League and the America's Olympic qualifier in Panama.
Still fights it off.
Only 22 years of age. This pitcher so is facing. Selected in the 12th round of the 2000 first-year player draft from Oregon. Born and now resides there, Warrenton, Oregon.
Ground ball. Can they turn 2? 6-4-3. Double play. We head to the 8th. It's 3-2 Cards. A production of Bud Sports and an exclusive presentation of FSN Midwest. I don't know if I like the way this thing is shaping up, Al, with all these opportunities the Cardinals have had.
Danny, let me tell you, sometimes you're better off facing teams that have something at stake, because as Kiko Calero will take over, he's well rested. Did pitch 15 pitches on Wednesday, but only his 3rd appearance of the week. You know, you take an example of Arizona, you know, a bunch of guys playing in the big leagues for the very first time. They've read all year about how great the Cardinals are. Best record in baseball, a great ball club, you know, offensively, defensively. All these starters got all the wins. The bullpen has already 50 saves. And Luis Gonzalez is sitting there saying, guys, you could be spoilers and you can have an impact. And you can go out there with heads-up baseball. You play above your ability, and you can be equal or even better than these guys. You have nothing to lose. You're not supposed to beat them. And many times those second division teams are a handful.
What's a guy we haven't talked about much tonight is Gonzalez, done for the year with his shoulder surgery. Tried to play through it, but with the team out of contention, why not just get the thing healthy and come back ready to go next year?
Remember, he had when we saw him in April, he had a partially torn tendon in his elbow, and he tried to play through it, but then it was ridiculous as far off as they were. Get it surgically repaired, get healthy for next season. And I think the prognosis is that, much like Womack, you know, who had the surgery in October, Luis had it, I guess, the end of August.
Right.
And so he should be able to be back and be ready by opening day.
Good pitch, a strike, 1-2 on Batista. Singled, 1 for 3 on the night. You and Joe were talking about this the other night, how deceptive Calero can be, like that. Good pitch.
He was brilliant the other night, 1 inning of work, and he got the victory, but he had 2 strikeouts. Biggio and Bagwell, and Beltran in between just hit a little ball off the end of the bat that Kiko fielded and threw him out to first. Very dominant performance.
37,280 in attendance tonight. This is Hillenbrand. He's 1 for 3.
$14 home runs doesn't sound like a lot, but don't make a mistake.
1-0 pitch, fastball, and a strike from Kiko Calero. Just looking at this bullpen, there have been worse things to happen to Steve Klein than to have that injury, but be able to be ready to go for postseason play, and he can rest his arm a little bit. That one is hit into center. That'll carry out to Edmonds. 2 outs. Not enough hours in the day to shop for that special sports fan in your life? Well, club.com makes it easy. Visit stlcardinals.com, online shop 24/7 to find that special someone, a special baseball treat. Shop at club.com today. There's Steve Klein out there. He will throw off the mound again tomorrow. He's been doing running exercises and stretching exercises prior to the games here in St. Louis and feeling pretty good. Kiko gets the first 2, and now Ray King will come in and face Chad Tracy. Good work by Calero. King will be the third pitcher used by St. Louis, with the Cardinals leading 3-2. Leading by the score of 3-2 with 2 outs here in the top of the 8th and nobody on, and Tony La Russa calls upon Ray King to take over.
When your starter gives you 7 innings, everything kind of falls in place. You can utilize this bullpen. A couple guys for the 8th inning, and Ray King, 77th appearance. He has 27 holes. That's tied for 4th in the National League, and he has plenty of rest. So he needed a little work anyway. Hopefully he will face one batter, and if things go true to form, left-handers are batting 143 against him, it will be only one batter.
Chad Tracy, the hitter. Cardinals made great use of King and Klein, 2 lefties in this bullpen all season long. First pitch is a strike. Tracy tonight is 0 for 3.
Last year, Chad was the organizational minor league player of the year at Tucson.
He rips a shot into the corner. Tracy on his way to second base. Throw by Walker is not in time.
How about that accurate throwing on?
Oof. One hopper right on the bag.
There, he doesn't have the same skills as he had, but you can tell he was one of the best players in all of baseball, because what he has left is still better than most. 7-time Gold Glove winner, 3-time batting champion. Most hits by any Canadian-born player.
Who had that before him? Terry Poole?
Terry Poole.
Now Tony La Russa is going to make a double switch, as King could not get that final out.
Izzy will come into this game and be asked to get the final out of the 8th, and then hopefully an uneventful night.
That means Tony La Russa doesn't want to fool around if he's going to bring Izzy in here to the 8th. I mentioned before that he did not really want to do that. That was about 3 weeks ago, and the Cardinals knew they were going to wrap this thing up. He thought, save Izzy a little bit down the stretch, only bring him into 9th inning situations. Not so tonight. Double switch, Reggie in along with Izzy, and it's 3-2 Cardinals. Here's Izzy to try to get that final out here in the 8th, and then pitch the 9th to pick up the save. He picked up a couple of saves already this week, and Isringhausen will take over, Al.
He's got 42 saves under his belt. Many times he's had to get more than one inning. Give him a little more of a legitimate shot to try and pass the Lee Smith save leader for one single season at 47.
Reggie Sanders, part of a double switch for St. Louis. Chris Snyder is the hitter. First pitch at 87 miles an hour. A little low and outside for ball 1. You like to see Izzy in this spot right here, coming into a middle of an inning as opposed to starting an inning like the 9th. And a ground ball. He's going to get it. Edgar's there. It's the final out here in the top of the 8th. Good work by Izzy. Cardinals will have Renteria, Mabry, and Matheny here in the bottom of the 8th.
Houston is 1, so they stay pace with the Cubbies. And San Diego and San Francisco are just getting underway, scoreless in the bottom of the 1st in Frisco.
Montreal beat Philadelphia 12-7. Mets and Pirates postponed. Chicago 12-4 winners over Cincinnati. Atlanta over Florida 8-1. That's a big game there. Houston, as you mentioned, a 2-1 winner over Milwaukee. 0-2 quickly on Renteria.
Montreal with a big 5-run 9th inning. It was 7-7 tie. Apparently Larry Bowa is going to hold his job for this year, but you wonder if it's got to be in jeopardy for next year.
Edgar tonight is 0 for 2. Like to see him get going a little bit. Last couple of weeks of the regular season.
He was 0 for 24 before he got a base hit and RBI earlier this week.
Out. Cardinal leadoff hitters are now 5 for 7 with a walk. But yet they have not cashed in when they've had all kinds of opportunities in this game.
Womack made an out leading off the game, and Renteria just struck out there.
Mabry is 2 for 3. His homer tonight has a single, average at .303. 11 home runs on the year now and 34 ribbies. Matheny is homered as well. He's on deck.
For those 2 home runs tonight, the Cardinals have hit 200 on the season.
Came in second best in that department in the National League. 2-0.
Rooney just has a nice, easy delivery. Listed at 6'3", 226. Only 22 years of age. And he won't be 23 until mid-February next year.
A lot of people felt around this Arizona organization. They didn't get enough for Curt Schilling. Certainly the Sexton trade has not paid off for them, especially if he walks as a free agent. Season-ending shoulder surgery early on this year. 3-2 the count.
At least Lyle Overbay has cooled off in the second half, but I mean,
lessens the blow a little bit.
What he was doing in the first half, I mean, it really made that lopsided because of Sexton's surgery. I think Seattle's going to make a serious run at him. Richie Sexton.
Yep.
I was talking with John Sherholtz earlier. You know, he said, I've got the same problem. You know, my trade with the Cardinals is going to look a little lopsided if J.D. Drew walks.
Drew is having a career season so far, career highs in RBIs and home runs. When he first came up, and all the eyes and the attention on J.D. Drew were on Mark McGwire, and quietly he had an unbelievable month. Hit something like 450 his first month in the big leagues and hit some home runs.
5 home runs, if I'm not mistaken, in September, and hit over 400, like you said. Everything was just unbelievable, but a lot of injuries, and they were all legit.
Curveball hit out of play by Mike Matheny.
The way I looked at it, you know, I mean, I thought it was a great trade for both teams, but you know, if JD stayed with the Cardinals and he had this type of year, the Cardinals couldn't afford to keep him. And if he didn't have a really solid season, they wouldn't have wanted him. But it was a trade where the Cardinals needed pitching, Atlanta needed offense, and so it benefited both clubs.
0-1 pitch in the dirt. Nice play. Catcher behind the plate. Snyder's done a nice job blocking balls tonight. Big decision though for the Cardinals of 2004 heading into 05, and the biggest out there is Renteria, and apparently Walt Jocketty, and I think it's the right move. They're going to put off all the contract talks until after the season is done. This is no disrespect to Hector Luna, but Renteria goes. Watch out. Hit and run was on, and that's fouled back. 1-2.
Danny, I mean, I'm just speculating, but I've wondered this to myself, if some of this, you know, lapse in Renteria and the little struggles he's got right now is the mental wear and tear of wondering about your contract. Is this my final month in St. Louis? I'd love to be back here, but am I going to get the money I think I deserve? A lot of potential free agents. Mike Matheny's one of them, but there's only so much money that they have to split up.
There's Reggie Sanders now with 2 outs. His first plate appearance, part of a double switch. .22 home runs, 64 RBIs this year for Reggie Sanders.
Reggie, the first player in Major League history to hit 20 or more home runs for 6 different ball clubs.
Pretty much have gotten what you expected out of Reggie.
Well, you know, when it's all said and done, you'd probably be 25 to 30 home runs, around 70 to 80 RBIs.
Mabry will take the extra base to second. Good base running there by John Mabry. He's in scoring position on the count of 2-0 on Sanders, and one more run would be awfully nice. Coming up after the game on MSR, be part of the best post-game show anywhere by calling 888-RING-FOX, and stay tuned for our extended post-game coverage. Also, we'll check in with the Rams, who know how loud a dome can be, and the Hungo Award is coming up. After we give out tonight's award, it's just 2 weeks until the unveiling of the Hungo of the Year. And you have to ask the question, who will win baseball's most prestigious individual honor?
I think what...
That's the question.
You know, I think what we might do is, you know, our fans have really helped us out with their choices. I think we ought to turn it over to the fans. I think we ought to give them about 4 or 5 choices.
Helped out with Joe's tie last night. They're willing to help out with the Hungo.
Oh, sure. I mean, I couldn't do it all by myself. And I know you can't. You know, it's just too big of an assignment for the 2 of us.
You realize I'd be one of the choices. I was the first recipient.
Oh, you know what?
You forgot about that, didn't you? You know where my vote's going.
No, I wasn't forgetting that.
You could have, well, you'd have to split it up 3 ways with the 3 MVPs.
Well, what we thought is they're going to make a pitching change. We'll have the 3 MVP candidates, Jason Isringhausen, and then we're going to pick one of the starters.
And we head to a break. To ponder the win now for Arizona, Al.
Andy Show, appearing for the 66th time. He's a left-handed specialist, really a side-wheeling guy, kind of hard to hit, but you got to, you know, we talked about earlier about the front shoulder of a left-handed hitter. You got to hold that in. Well, this is a perfect example of a side-wielding left-hander that you've really got to do that. But I think the one thing for a guy like Tony Womack, his ability to hit the ball the opposite field, it'll help make that happen for him.
Left-hander here, left-hander on deck in Larry Walker, and then Pujols. We're in the 8th, and the Cardinals leading by a run 3-2. If they can hold on, the magic number reduced to 3. Chicago has won tonight. Houston has won tonight. Runners at first and second. This guy's tough on lefties. Tough night for Tony. 0 for 4. Six pitchers used by the Diamondbacks tonight.
He slings the ball, hides the ball well. Cross firing. You see, that's just the way Tony's took that pitch, where he's trying to keep that front shoulder and drive the ball the opposite field. Stay on the ball, stay behind it.
2 balls and 1 strike on Tony Womack. Here it comes. Slapped the other way. That's a base hit. They're going to hold the runner at third. That's Mabry. So the bases will be loaded for Larry Walker.
Just like he said, you know, you've got to go up there and think about hitting the ball the opposite field. Stay on top of it. Shoot for that hole on the left side, and he does so.
And once again, the base is loaded for the Cardinals. Can they cash in this time?
Has he hit 2 grand slams as a Cardinal? Didn't he hit 6 and 7 as a Cardinal?
I believe so.
Yeah, seemed like the same week.
1 shot to center field against Cincinnati.
He was trying to hold that front shoulder in, and it almost got nicked. You know, it's the same old deal. You know, if you make a good pitch, lefty against lefty, you got a good chance of getting out. You make a bad pitch, that hitter's got a good chance of getting you.
Strike on Walker. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And he pitched for Montreal. He's done a good job of stranding runners.
Walker back to the pitcher. Cardinals strand the bases loaded. We'll head to the 9th with Isringhausen on the mound for St. Louis, and he'll try to close it out. Back, it's 3-2 St. Louis, 7 hits aside, and the Cardinals trying to reduce this thing to a magic number of 3. 3 outs away from doing so.
So the earliest they could clinch would be Sunday. Before this game, there was a possibility it could be with them after having played a day game tomorrow and the Cubs losing a night game tomorrow night. But that won't happen because the Cubs won today.
3-2 Cardinals. Here's Josh Kroger hitting just 172 on the year, but he's 2 for 3 tonight. Izzy will be asked to get the final 4 outs in this game. First pitch, a strike at 87 miles an hour. Down by a run, he takes a strike here in the 9th.
A lot of times with a left-hander, and at that velocity, you got to believe it's the cutter. There's a good breaking ball, but
curveball that he throws as a knuckle curve.
Yeah, and hoping a young hitter would offer at it, swing at the over the top of it. He's got a nasty one.
1 ball, 1 strike. Good pitch. Just below the hands of that left-handed hitter. That's a tough pitch right there.
Cutter coming in on him.
Jerry Gill is on deck.
Didn't want the cutter, didn't want the fastball in, didn't want the curveball. Go back to the cutter. And there was also a fastball outside. 1 in, 1 out.
Running out of choices.
Cutter. They're in agreement now.
The 1-2 pitch. Ooh, just missed inside. Ooh.
Tough pitch to take right there. With a veteran who's got 42 saves. Fastball.
2-2. Ground ball. 2-2. Womack. Sound number 1. Ryan Burr is standing by with a preview of the Midwest Sports Report.
Coming up after the game on the Busch Light Midwest Sports Report, complete Cards post-game coverage, and John Hadley takes your calls at 1-888-RING-FOX. That and more after the game, but now back out to Dan and Al.
Quinn McCracken will be the pinch hitter for Gill.
He's looking over. Albert, who's this?
And we'll see Alan Zinter. He has moved to the on-deck circle.
Kraken. Remember a couple years ago he tried to make the Cardinal Ball Club.
Right.
Former running back out of Duke University. Colorado, Tampa Bay, all over the place.
Second stem with the Diamondbacks. 1 out, nobody on. Arizona needs a base runner. Down by the score of 3-2. Cardinals 2 outs away from a victory. The pitch outside. Kind of under the radar screen has been Jason Isringhausen this year. When you think of great closers, you think of Gagne, think of Smoltz in the National League.
He's leading the National League, isn't he?
You got it. The Bruce Sutter and Lee Smith have posted 40 save seasons with the Cardinals. And now you can add the name of Jason Isringhausen.
Kraken was released by Seattle on June the 7th.
2-0 pitch. He does not want to walk on that tying run. Our next game on FSN Midwest would be in Milwaukee Monday night. Four straight. Tonight's play of the game brought to you by Bud Light. Fresh, smooth, real. It's all here. This was certainly a key in this game, Al. A play at the plate. Hesitation by the runner at third, and Tony Womack came to the plate, and it's your Bud Light play of the game.
Throws a strike to Matheny. Matheny seals off the plate, and that's why the Cardinals still have a 1-run lead. Pinch runner for McCracken, who had knee surgery. It looks like it's Andy Green and Alan Zinter, pinch hitter. This guy is interesting. 36 years of age. He's a 16-year veteran of pro ball, appearing in 1,414 minor league games over 14 years before making his major league debut with Houston. That was in June 18, 2002. He owns a 137 average, 10 for 73, 3 doubles, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs in 60 career big league games. So a career minor leaguer getting another shot at the big league level.
Good for him. I asked you this before, but I'll ask you again. Is he starting an inning or coming into the 8th? I mean, I prefer him to start the 9th.
Well,
just his track record seems to show that way.
You out of necessity, you felt like you needed to bring him in the 8th inning, but he should have been. He had a very brief one batter, ground out, and then you feel comfortable with him starting the 9th inning.
A question for Tony La Russa is why not just keep Calero in? Now, he did have the lefty-lefty matchup, but
well, that's
we go back to that all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
1-0 pitch. That's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
anytime you ask Tony La Russa about some strategy, the one answer he will give you, and it's always a well thought out answer. It's not just something, you know, going by the seat of the pants. But the one thing he said, if it does not work, which way will I sleep better? Which way can I, you know, feel like I gave my team the best chance to win?
Good pitch. 1-2. Jason picked up save number 42 on Wednesday night. He's tied for the lead with Armando Benitez. He's had a comeback season with the Florida Marlins. What does he want on 1-2?
Cutter.
Chop foul. Izzy was great in the month of August, converted 11 of 12 save opportunities.
Remember early in the season he virtually had 0 save because he had very few opportunities.
The 1-2 pitch ripped into right center field. This game just might be tied. Zinter has delivered. This game is tied at 3. Ball was hammered off the bat of Zinter. Picks up his 4th RBI.
It's amazing to me at times as you breaking ball and is really kind of lazy. You know, looked like where Matheny was set up, they were trying to backdoor it, and he just rifled it out into right center, plugged the gap out there, and look at Green run. He didn't look over his shoulder. He just put his head down and ran the proper way.
Now Torero, the leadoff man, could tie it up for Arizona. We understand that Barry Bonds at home has just homered with number 700.
Congratulations, Barry. Third on the all-time list.
Scott Hairston, an outfielder, will take over as the runner at second base. Jake Peavy gave up the historic home run number 700.
I think that's the third home run he's hit off of Peavy.
He has tore up San Diego pitching.
Yeah, more home runs. I think it's 79 or some crazy number like that. He's hit off the San Diego pitching staff in his career.
Look at that swing by a leadoff man. 1 ball, 1 strike. The walk to the pinch hitter. And the pinch runner scores all the way from first. RBI double by Zinter. And the 1-1 pitch. 2-1.
Scott Hairston out there is the 9th member of his family to play pro ball. And an older brother, Jerry Jr. in Baltimore. Knew his father. Other brothers too played.
3-1. We talked about it, Al. The Cardinals have had so many opportunities tonight. And at some point it comes back to bite you. And it has here.
Well, they've stranded 11 runners on the night. And they're hoping they'll get a chance to win it tonight.
3-1 is pop foul out of play. Cardinals will have Pujols, Edmonds, and a pinch hitter due up. Diamondbacks have a pair of righties throwing in their bullpen, getting ready for the bottom of this 9th inning.
This is a second consecutive start for Woody Williams. He had a victory taken away by the bullpen.
The 3-2 pitch. This is outside, second walk in the inning.
Woody's more concerned about getting the team victory now. Problem is now is he throwing a lot of pitches. Couple walks, base hit. Still only 1 out.
Alex Cintron will be the hitter. Runners at first and second. All kinds of room if he wishes just to slap it between the hole, between third and short. Reaches for it. Little swinging bunt. Izzy flips to Pujols. Runners advance to second and third.
Nice play by Izzy. With momentum going to first. The only play he had was the first base bag, and both runners advance. So usually don't worry about a wild pitch or a pass ball or anything like that. Anything getting by Matheny. But you got to get Batista out.
Hit the ball hard a couple of times tonight. He's 1 for 4 to show for it. Base hit could give the Diamondbacks a lead. Runners at second and third here in the 9th. A 3-3 game. Well hit into right. Walker on the move. On the track, and he makes the play. So here come the Cardinals in the bottom of the 9th. Albert Pujols. We move to the bottom of the 9th as the Diamondbacks tie it up here in the 9th. First batter up for St. Louis is Pujols, then Edmonds, and then we'll see a pinch hitter for Jason Isringhausen, who suffers a blown save. Scott Service is the right-handed pitcher in for the Diamondbacks, the 7th pitcher that they have used tonight. This will be his 18th game this year. ERA near 7, and opponents hitting near 260. Pujols has been quiet tonight. Hit by pitches last time. He's fly to right, hit into a double play and walked. He could win it with his 3rd walk-off home run of the year. Wouldn't that be nice? Cardinals trying to get this magic number down to 3 as Chicago's already won.
Cintron moves over to shortstop as Green stays in the game. He tied the went into base running, pinch run, and he scored the tying run. He'll play second base.
Number 45 would be sweet right now.
Scott Service, been around a long time, who Albert is facing.
Game-winning RBIs in the National League. Rolling in Pujols, 1-2. And the 1-0 pitch just misses outside. 2-0. Two curveballs that Pujols sees early on in this at bat.
Scott Service used to be a lot more nasty.
Another breaking ball misses.
37 years of age. Got to the big leagues the first time in '88 with Philadelphia. Pitched in Japan, Montreal, Colorado, Cincinnati, San Francisco, Cincinnati again.
A chopper off the play. That's a fair ball. Now it rolls
Look at that
foul.
bounce.
But the English on that bounce as it hit the ground. That was fair and then rolled foul.
Yeah, Albert didn't locate it. Started to run, and catcher pounced out there, and it just backed up. And
it's like one of your shots on the green, Al.
Oh yeah,
just back it right up.
Yeah, but which green? The one I'm going for, or one about 3 fairways over?
Three balls
Kansas City,
and a strike.
Oakland, and Arizona for Scott Service.
Here it comes. Another curveball and a strike on Pujols. So he's seen 5 pitches, and 4 of those have been breaking balls.
6'6". He used to have nasty stuff. He used to throw real hard and kind of wicked, but now it seems like reduced to all this slider.
Ooh. Leadoff walk. Albert got some calls in that at bat. That's Jim Edmonds.
Albert's walked 3 times tonight ahead of Jim Edmonds, who's walked twice himself.
He could send everybody home tonight as the outfielders playing awfully deep, nothing over their heads.
How about the left fielder? He's in the first row of the seats.
Marlon Anderson has moved to the on-deck circle. That's a ball to Jim Edmonds. Cardinals have a lefty throwing in the bullpen. Is that Rick Ankiel?
I would think so.
If he comes in, this would be his home debut, correct?
Yes, he would. Why not bring him in this game? But we'd rather see him have to wait another day as the Cardinals end this one in their bottom half of the ninth.
Edmonds rocks this one into right center field, and it drops in there for a hit. Here comes Pujols. He's being waved home. He is safe at the plate, and the Cardinals win it. Edmonds with RBI number 110. Thank you, Jim Edmonds. Drives in Albert Pujols all the way from first. And the Cardinals win it 4-3. Izzy the winner. He's 4-2. Service takes the loss 1-1. Edmonds with RBI number 110. Diamondbacks and Cardinals tomorrow on Fox at noon. The Midwest Sports Report is coming up.